We want to thank our presenting sponsors. Without you, we would not be here having this national discussion. Jason, we are marching upon our 200th episode.
That's awesome. I'm going to get you a big cake.
Well, we're going to have a big birthday celebration. It'll be a separate show.
Awesome.
So you might be invited to participate.
I would love to. I bring the party.
I'm Julie. Yeah, it'll be really fun. It'll be really fun. Again, I'm Julia Patrick, CEO of American Nonprofit Academy, and Jarrett Ransom. She'll be back with us tomorrow. Best of all, we've invited Jason Champion back on from Winspire to talk to us about something that's kind of one of those like mysterious parts of many it's a secret. It's a secret. And so I feel like we've gone into the magic castle in Southern California, and we're going to hear what the magicians really know about. So Jason Champion, Director of Product Development for Winspire. Here's his contact information. Okay. Today's show, secrets to travel auction packages. Pretty crazy.
It is a big topic to discuss because there's so many people that know who we are, but they really don't know what we do. Mm-hmm. And we are the largest provider of unique bucket list travel experiences, virtual event production to nonprofits to use in your fundraising. And it is just really unique of what I get to do here at Winspire, because I work with suppliers and vendors all over the globe to create these really unique type of bucket list experiences. And the one thing that I always get asked, how do you come up with this?
Yeah.
You get to go to all these locations. Do you get to travel to all this? And yes, of course, check. I'm there going to see it, make sure that you guys and everybody else enjoys it. But the secret of it really is demand and talking to our customers, hearing what they're hearing from their donors. But to go to a direct link to those folks that are donating, nonprofits should be talking to their donors and say, you attended last year's event. What did you think? Did you like it? What can we do with this? Then you liked our live auction. If we had this in the live auction, what would you do? Would you buy it? Would you bid on it? What do you think about that? And you start polling them and you get your top 5 type items that they've talked about, which then can help guarantee a little more confidence when you're going into your event that you're going to sell those items, not just guessing what. And the last secret of this is, Julia, is that the nonprofit individual, do not shop with your pocketbook. Shop with your donor's pocketbook. Because if they're on my pocketbook, we're staying at the courtyard, not on the beach, couple of blocks off. But that's what we do.
So let's back up a little bit, because I think of, and like, as I witnessed on this program from day one, I was raised on the rubber chicken circuit. I've gone to more events than you can count. And I mean, this has just been part of our culture and what we've done. And I have to admit, when I'm really honest, going to an event, when there's a swanky travel package in the live auction, I subconsciously assign a higher value to the organization. Mm-hmm. And so if it's like, you get to go to Tahiti and whatever, I'm like, wow, not that I'm going to be the one that bids on that, but I'm going to see who's going to bid on it. And it just is it's a weird thing. I can say truly that somehow I associate that higher level experience and travel package and apply some things to the organization. I don't think of it as frivolous. I don't think of it as not aligning to the mission, but I just see it as something like, wow, this organization's really on top of it because they've gone out and they've gotten this sexy program and they're going to make all this money. And I have to be really honest and admit, I did not know that there were companies like yours that did all of this work, that it was a consignment product.
It is a
That's the
unique
right word.
space. Yeah, you're totally
Okay.
right. It is a unique space to be in. And
Mhm.
it truly does bring a different level of sophistication to an event, either if it's in the silent auction, the live auction, or even a raffle. It shows that the organization either did research, pulled in the sources that they need, or found a reputable company to work with to make sure that they're providing these really unique experiences.
Mhm.
And perfect example, I had someone reach out to us 2019 asking for an Olympics package. So I
Oh,
created this amazing Olympics package. They sold it in their auction for almost $50,000. They cleared a good $35,000 of that. We've obviously postponed and we're moving forward and continuing to help their donors, which is great. But they would have never been able to do that with the typical donations and small things that they had gotten over the years.
wow. Okay, so then let's dig into that because how are these travel packages working during COVID? I mean, what what does that even look like? And are do you have a sense that donors are pulling back saying, "Oh, well, we're never going to be able to travel again, so we're not it's not an attractive thing to bid on."
Well, let's don't put that out there. We'll never be able to travel again. Let's pull that back from the universe, Julia. Let's pull that back. Okay, so we'll ring that one back in. The thing that I would say about traveling during COVID, one thing that we did was jumped right out first and told everyone that from that time forward, when they were looking to book their trip, they have full 2 years at this point.
Wow.
So anybody that's purchased a trip pretty much in 2019 through any kind of nonprofit with us has up until the end of 2022 to book and
Awesome.
travel. We obviously will continue to make adjustments if there's other things that have come into play at that point. But for the most part, we will work with every donor to make sure that they're comfortable and can travel what they want. You
Mhm.
know, people are still buying travel. Travel is the second highest selling auction item in an event, virtual or in a physical event, because
Okay.
these are bucket list experiences that people want to purchase and go on. This
Mhm.
is obviously our donors know that they're going to get a good deal
Yeah.
within an auction.
Oh.
And they know it's going to be curated to where all they have to do is pick up a phone and move forward with us.
Mhm.
Um, what we have told all of our nonprofits at this point, and they have conveyed it back to all of their donors, support now, travel later, because they have to have the funding. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
They have to
Yeah.
continue to have their funding, and live auction items, silent auction items, raffle items are definitely part of the board budgets of being built in, and it's almost instant revenue for you. So being able to support now, travel later, we've put that on all of our collateral. All the nonprofits are using that, and people are like, okay, I'm good with
I
that. I'll wait.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that because it totally it pulls it back to what you're actually doing. You're
Hmm.
not just shopping for a vacation.
No.
In theory, in a practice, you're doing something that is, benevolent, and then there's a perk to it.
Yep.
So dig down with me a little bit and explain to me how this consignment piece works and what if you have some ideas of like what the average bid is going to be and how it exceeds that.
This goes back to what I was saying earlier about the planning and the demand.
Mhm.
Because if you have worked with your donors prior to the event to lead up to be able to put some exclusive packages in front of them, you know that they're going to be bid on. And when you do that with marketing, social media, phone call, email, text message, and do the proper promotion to get the stoked interest on these type of an items, we see on average about 60% higher value sell off of what the reserve cost is that we provide. So what's even more exciting about it is that, you know, think of this, if you're in a ballroom, and this has happened before, we've all seen this,
Mhm.
even if you're on a virtual experience and watching a gala done, you can see the bidding go up. You get 4 or 5 people up at 5,000, gets up to 7,000. You're losing 3 or 4 people. But what did that do for you right then? It identified a high dollar donors in the room that you may not have identified before.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
first. And then the second thing is, so if somebody is going up and they're back and forth between 500 to 1,000, 500 to 1,000,
Mhm.
The great thing about this is that the auctioneer, professional BAS auctioneer, can stop the auction and say, if you'll pay for this and you'll pay for this at these two costs, done. And you can sell them twice. So you just doubled your money. That's what's great about these, is because we work with suppliers to secure yearly rates, not go online and find something at the time. These are contracts that I work through a year in advance to make sure that when we offer it to a nonprofit, it's going to be a rate that is going to be lower than consistent anything they would find online moving forward for the following year when their traveler wants to move. So we've got all of that taken care of. We also have been able to eliminate a lot of the blackout dates or restrictions when people want to travel. So we've been able to do some really good, unique things to make that list even better and bigger every time.
So let's talk about that then, because one of the things that I noticed, for a while there, people were dumping in, and this could have come from a board member or perhaps just a patron, their timeshares. And it would be like, oh my God, skiing in Aspen, that sounds great. Oh, but wait, it's only from this date to that date. And, it was very restrictive. But what I like about this concept is that it really is an experience that can go on, or, it has more of a shelf life, if you will.
Yep.
But I'm curious about how this is managed. Are you as a nonprofit going to have to make those flight reservations or do the bookings, or how does that actually work?
That is an awesome question. And Windspire is a full concierge agency. We have travel agents on staff 24/7 that works with your bidders to work through the process of booking their trip. Our initial conversation is obviously, congratulations, thank you for supporting XYZ mission. We look forward to being able to service you. Let's set up another phone call to brainstorm when you're looking to travel. We present to the donor, say they present to us 3 different times that they potentially want to travel. We then work with our suppliers and we try to secure one of those times. Obviously, that's 99% of the time that happens, but there may be some one-offs that we have to go back to them and say, would you willing to do this? And then we work with them, traveling, booking, everything that they need, all the way up to the time they get on the plane. They get home, we call them, we make sure that they had a successful experience. And that's how we continue to take care of your donors on your end, because they came to us through you. So we have to make sure that the nonprofits are continue to be represented throughout this process. It's not about us and what we do. It's about continuing to bring that donor back home to you all so they'll buy something again in the future. And that's the experience we want to be able to provide.
So let me ask you this. Are you advocating, or do you see with your clients that you should have like one big, fabulous deal, or should you like have 3, or so that you could have different like experiences for different profiles of donors? Or what are your thoughts? Because to me, I always think of it as like the granddaddy. It's like, the jewelry and all the other stuff.
Holding everything up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but exactly. I mean, it's like the last thing that the auctioneer does.
Yep. That's a good question, because I work with some organizations that have uber high-end donors, and they do the process of talking to them, asking them, and then we create a specific one-off item that they know will be sold for that. And then to fill in with the additional items, I always say try to do a mix, a beach, a city, and international, just to give a great range of people so they can see and have a good time. Cabo, super popular right now, almost COVID free, easy travel restrictions. Hawaii, same thing. City, obviously we're not running to New York, but we've created a bunch of stay in plays that are offshoots of smaller markets that have open range to go to restaurants and bars. So there's some cool stuff that you can use to kind of fill in around maybe one big item.
Interesting.
And I've did this. I've worked with an organization in Atlanta for a couple of years, and I'm very good friends with the executive director, and she always calls me at around August. okay, what are we doing this next year? Her event's in February. What are we doing? What can we do? 2 years ago, we created an Orient Express package that ended up selling twice in their live auction. They were only expecting it once, and they sold it for $65,000 both times.
My God, that's fabulous.
But that she is super in tune to her donors. She knows what they're asking for, and she's delivering that experience because she's got fundraising goals. We all have fundraising goals, and she's got those goals and she's able to hit them by creating that unique special package.
Okay, so you've like blown my mind because this is the world I live in. I talk to people about them in the nonprofit sector all day long. I have never ever ever heard anyone say, talk to your donors and find out what might be of interest. Try and get a feel for the room, not just for that night,
right?
But the strategic aspect of it. And that includes international travel. So, I mean, outside of COVID, undoubtedly, that has layered in a whole nother thing. But have you found that the international travel is, draws more money, draws more attention, or do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, obviously international travel, wine tasting in Tuscany, hiking Kilimanjaro, Jasper, Canada for skiing. Like there's some beautiful international travel packages. Those are bucket list items that people always want to do, and they will always sell. The great thing is right now is that we will work with them to figure out when they're going to be able to travel and make that totally special. What's fun though is I have seen a beautiful uptick within domestic packages. And I love that we as a culture are starting to get back out of our homes and start to go to little small towns in Massachusetts and go some little quaint places in Connecticut, doing some B&B type experiences, and where you could drive for a weekend, because we need to be able to disconnect. And this is a great way to do it. You're not having to get on a plane and fly somewhere. You're in your safety of your own car and you can move around as you need. So domestic travel has definitely had an uptick for sure.
Now, this is a question, and this is going to sound like super ageist, but I've got to ask, when I think about looking across, and you're the one that taught us, beyond the ballroom, hashtag beyond the ballroom.
I wonder if that was going to come up today.
It has to, we say it all the time, but you think about, okay, this is an older demographic that's going to, maybe have the funds and the resources to purchase these bigger ticket items. How does, we use the word experiential travel, which is such a great buzzword, but what about those outdoor adventures? Do you find that, fishing in Montana or, going down the Russian River or whatever, are those still going to play as well?
Those are some of the most popular right now that we have. Glamping in the Russian River in Yosemite, an RV experience for 5 days that sleeps 7 people if you want. It's a great, and no, it's not Cousin Eddie from A Christmas Story. It's not that. It's not that RV. It's an amazing first class RV, and we have multiple of them. And that's a really unique experience. People are driving themselves to the outdoors. And especially now, I read an article just last night, how I live in Florida, that we're going to see a crazy amount of tourists this snowbird season is what we typically call it, because people up north are going to truly want to get out and get to a new place, and they're looking to come here. So the more you can do outdoors right now, and packages that we're able to offer, those are instant sellers almost. I would guarantee that it's almost an instant seller.
And are those, going back to what you just said previously, do you think that those are going to be more people that could get there by car?
I think it's going to be a mix, because like the glamping package, we've sold that up in Maryland, and the organization was it's in Maryland, but the trip itself is in California. The people were very excited and looking forward to going to do it. So, I think it's a unique twist on some, and making some new classics. Broadway's always a classic package, Tuscany, Napa. Well, now a really good classic package is a 1975 refurbished Airstream trailer in Yosemite. Like, people want to do that. And so it's the same thing with the RVs. Everybody wants to do it one time.
Right.
I'll buy an RV in 2 years when everybody returns them. But everybody wants to do that because they all of a sudden have a sense of freedom that we are not currently able just to have naturally at the moment.
Right, right. Now, what about the concept of family vacations, multi-generational vacations?
You learned that word from me.
Multi-gener-
Multi-generational travel.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a big, I mean, we talk about it all the time, multi-generational giving and the whole donor experience. The donors, you know, high net worth donors that are like, yeah, I kind of missed the boat with my own kids, but by God, I got control of the grandkids, or I have
Right.
influence over the grandkids. So I'm
Right.
wondering, are you seeing that, or are you seeing more like adults only couples?
I'm definitely seeing multi-generational. We released a package a couple of months ago called Pick Your Getaway, which is a private residence in 36 different states around the world and countries and cities. I mean, it's a really cool package, and it's for 4 or 5 nights, and it's really unique because then it's not built into a hotel. You take the kids, are all in one condo. You know, it's that type of an experience. And the same thing, while we don't showcase that we have private residences, we have access to all of those things. So if people want to know, shoot me an email. I'm glad to help you create some really cool, unique travel for you and your family to stay in a safe level.
So what about the concept of adult versus children? I mean, it seems like for a long time there was almost like a pressure to, and this again is in live events, where you are probably filled a table with friends or whatever, and it's like, okay, everybody, you know, you can do 3 couples, you can do 4 couples, and kind of in the moment, spur of the moment, get people to commit to that type of a thing.
Mhm.
You see that changing because we're doing these virtual events?
You know, I think, that's a good question, because I've been in that same situation where I've sat at a table and we all were like, oh, let's go to Montana together. I'll throw in $3,000, or, whatever, that, you figure it out and do that. But I think that now, I think it's a first thought in your head of, ooh, I could do this with my family, and not, oh, this is fun. We're having a good time. Everybody's drinking right now, and let's go party in Vail for a week. I think people see it and go, that's how my family and I could get together right now and it'd be safe. So I think there's that moment. I think we will go back to, hey, everybody, this is a 10 top, 5 couples. We're good. Let's go in and buy Ted Turner's Ranch. Let's do this. I think that will always be there. But I think, like I said, the first initial thought now is more family oriented than group friends.
Okay. Well, as our time is drawing to a close, which I could talk to you about this for just so much longer, I'm curious to see what are some of the trends and some of the strategies that are changing as we navigate more to the virtual thing. I mean, because I always have felt like the part of the travel packages was that buzz in the room, that it would get everybody excited, and people are clapping, to encourage the bidders and all that. You have a little bit different of a cadence with the virtual environment. What do you suggest? You talked about pre-promoting it,
Mm-hmm.
but what are some of the other things that we could be doing that way?
Again, this goes back to hashtag beyond the ballroom. You're on a global platform at this point, and you just never know truly your reach you have through social media, your own donor database, and what could be appealing to someone that your organization's in Phoenix, but they're in Florida, and they tuned into your virtual event because they found your mission engaging. So you really don't know some of the hard statistics of what we normally have, because you could control it with 320 people in a ballroom and you knew what would happen. And this is a little bit of a game changer. But I think, the virtual experiences that we incorporated into our portfolio of virtual cooking classes, virtual shipping champagne with a professional sommelier. I mean, like those virtual experiences are selling just as well as the travel, but don't shy away from offering travel because you need the funds now. This is support now, travel later. And the people that are buying those type of experiences are fine waiting until they can go.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Well, you really have unlocked some of these mysteries because there's so much I didn't know about this. I mean, obviously, like anyone, we've seen this. We know that this is the granddaddy of an event. We know that it's a way to make money. Even that concept where, we could sell 2 or 3, it's always like a big surprise, even though it's something that everybody knew in advance was available because of the structure of travel packages. So I'm thrilled that you came on today and shared this because it just seems to me that it's something that you shouldn't overlook, that it's really something that should become a part of your portfolio as you look at engaging your donors and your guests.
Yeah, and at this time, for sure, our typical go-tos of people that have donated items and even board members donating houses or miles and things like that, that's drying up. And that's where we come into play is still to add the Dean McCurry term, the sizzle to it, and make sure that, they're still able to provide something that's engaging and entertaining for their donors. Because if you just don't have something, then that's scary. And then 2, to have our packages in there, it's great because they're on consignment. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You got $50 is more than you had last time.
Well, I love that. And I think that it is just like, take a deep breath when you know that you're not going to have to administrate this.
Right.
That you are going to be able to hand your donor over to good hands, and it's going to be, their experience is going to be great. Not just the stress of, did they make their flight? Did they lose their luggage? Or whatever the heck. I mean, So amazing, amazing. Well, here's Jason Champion's information, winspireme.com. Check them out. Their site is fascinating. Not only do they have tons and tons of packages that you could look at forever in a day, but they have some really good blog posts and different educational moments and pieces. So I found that to be really helpful. And it's not just about travel. I mean, it has a lot to do with development, donor relationships. So definitely check out Winspire Me. It's really super interesting. Jason, this has been a delight. Again, I'm Julia Patrick, CEO of the American Nonprofit Academy. My co-host Jarrett Ransom.
You're already working into it. See, I already hear it. Jarrett,
sorry. Trailer.
Sorry, Jarrett.
Lost her trailer on the lot. We've teased about that before, but yeah. No, well, we could call you Jason Ransom.
There we go. It works. We'll figure it out. We can make it work.
That's hilarious. Hey, I want to thank our presenting sponsors. Without you, we would not be here having this great discussion, learning all we need to know about travel packages. If you have a question for us on Fridays, our Ask and Answer episode, Jason has actually co-hosted that with me, and it's really fun. It was great. We'll have you do that again because the energy and the perspective was fabulous. We really appreciate that. Check out the Nonprofit Atlas. It's a resource directory for nonprofits. You can get all different types of thought leaders and folks on that. Again, this has been the Nonprofit Show. Hey, Jason, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. This is always fun, Julia. You bring a light to my day. It's wonderful.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. I'm going to go dust off that piece of luggage that's been in the garage somewhere and get thinking about traveling again.
Let's do it. I'll meet you wherever.
All right, my friend. Well, hey, this has been another episode of the Nonprofit Show, and we want to end as we do every day. Stay well so you can do well. We'll see you here tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.